Hey, hey, hey. Friday Live here, and you are guessing it right. I am not Vivica von Rosen. I am filling in for Vivica once again. This week, Vivica is traveling. I don't know if she's on an airplane or in her car, but she is not available for this week's Friday Vengresso LinkedIn Live. So I am Bernie Borges from Vengresso. I have been with you before. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to be introducing our guest here in just a moment. So welcome, everybody. Please do drop comments in. You know how this works, right? Drop your comments in. Let us know where you're coming in from. Hey, Alfred, good to see you. We can always count on you being here like clockwork every Friday. It's great to see you from Hollywood, California. That's awesome. I'm in Florida, but not in Hollywood, Florida. Hey, I'm excited about this week's guest. Before I bring her in, I just want to call attention to the fact that, this week we didn't get new questions from you all. So I want to remind you, let me go find that here. I want to remind you that you can just go to vengresolive.com and drop your questions there. So here's another way that I can remind you of that. Just drop your questions in throughout the week, and then we'll spend the first few minutes going through those questions. And just go to vengresolive.com. All right, let me introduce my guest for this week. Hey, Diego, good to see you. We've got an awesome guest this week. Liz Bishop is a veteran of the insurance industry, and Liz is going to share with us her experiences, what's been changing over recent years in insurance, and how her and her team have been adapting and adopting to current times, modern selling times. So without further ado, let me bring Liz in. Hi, Liz. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
All right. Great to see you.
Good to see
Sunny
you.
California. You've got your shades on. It's a bright, sunny day.
I had to represent, California's got to be sunny, right?
Absolutely. Just like I'm in sunny Florida, but I'm so encased here, you can't see the sun as you can there. So fantastic. Well, Liz, I'm really excited about our conversation because you are a veteran of the insurance industry. You've been in the insurance industry for more than a couple of decades.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of change. So we're obviously here to talk about modern selling techniques. But before we get to current times, maybe you could share with us what you've seen over the last couple of decades in terms of how traditional selling and insurance kind of used to be before we get to like where it is right now.
Right. Well, I think most people that are in sales and professional services, that the traditional way is just, still the cold call, frankly.
Right.
It's maybe an introductory letter and then a cold call after that, an email follow-up, and if you kind of do a trifecta campaign, you feel like you're doing your job, and that can work. You just don't end up maybe with the hit ratio that you had hoped for, because that doesn't always imbue the trust and relationship development that you want to be able to have right away. So that process takes a long time. So I think everybody's used to that.
Yeah. And in the insurance industry, insurance products, we all need insurance, right? And I know that you're in a company environment where, correct me if I'm wrong, your company has business products and also individual products. So it's still selling human to human, whether it's selling to an individual or selling to a business. So let's fast forward to, where we are in current times. At what point, Liz, did you, as a leader at your company, did you and your team really kind of get that light bulb to say, we really need to do something different? Times have changed, right? At what point, what was that thought process like? What was that conversations like internally?
Right. Well, I think that, frankly, here we are. It's, no surprise. We're here in August of 2020. And as COVID hit, March, April, May, we realized, wow, people are not in their offices, reaching out on the phone is not going to be the same. People are going to get bombarded by emails and be lost. Whatever you're trying to reach out to them about is going to be lost in a sea of emails and other priorities, and just trying to stay afloat, let alone think about, changing your professional service providers that, are virtually what most people on this show are looking at and are actually doing. And so we realized, hey, we have to stand out. There has to be a way to do that. And we thought that this really was the right avenue to lean into and to invest in, frankly, because this is probably the only new that is really available that gets people's attention.
Okay. So I want to ask you a follow-on question, but first, somebody dropped a comment in the chat saying that you're a little hard to hear, so maybe you can speak up just a tad. I know you're calling in, so just be aware of that.
All right.
I'm curious, can we unpack that a little bit, Liz?
Sure.
What did it take internally? I mean, did anybody have to be sold? Did you have anybody in the company that just maybe was resistant to it? Was there any kind of, sort of internal convincing that needed to take place?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, anytime you have, uh, frankly, it's an investment, right? You're going to be looking at having to invest in this kind of training, and that takes, either a committee or a group of people that are going to weigh in on how the company is going to spend their resources. And certainly now and in the near term, over the course of the next year, people are really evaluating all and every expense that they're making. So it did take a committee, and there were some naysayers saying, hey, we just, we really shouldn't do this right now. This is not the time to invest in something new that may or may not have results and, those types of things. But, frankly, it really, the naysayers were fewer than the people that thought we should really move forward into this new frontier. So
Okay.
that was our process.
Yeah, yeah. Now, full disclosure for all those watching and listening, either today live or in the future, we've obviously worked together. You and your team went through a Vengresso training program. And so what was that experience like when the team was going through the program? How did you see especially the naysayers, those that were just initially resistant, which, by the way, is very normal. We see that all the time, right? When you get a group of people, you never had 100% of the people that are just coming to the party, saying, yeah, I want to do this. There's always a few people that the good news is by the end of the program, they're on board, right?
Yeah.
So how did you see that sort of evolve throughout the program?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, what we initially did is we have a variety of, obviously salespeople, and we chose to actually pick the people that we thought would really embrace this. And so we had fewer naysayers probably than had we just rolled it out and asked everybody to participate, because we wanted to get a lot of yes momentum, which I think, anybody in sales loves. And people that we knew that would be excited about something kind of a little bit challenging like video, because video is a little bit nerve wracking to do it initially. And then once you get over it, just like, cold calling, that phone seems 9,000 pounds when you're looking at it, right? When you're going to make those dials. And sometimes the camera can appear that way until you're really in the process. And then you realize it's actually, when you get trained correctly and you get some confidence and footing around it, it really actually is really fun. But when we did have some initial naysayers, we really just talked to them about the success that video is having in reaching the audience that they want, their prospects that are going to be, really the types of prospects that they're going to want to have in their pipeline. And, it really kind of turned around pretty quickly. We did have a couple people that, initially, not just initially, but even in the process, it was really nerve wracking for them. But to your point, Bernie, by the end, they really they improved so much. I think when we guys went through the training, you mentioned, wow, the improvement from minute one to now, having been on the other side and finished the program, that's such a drastic difference in a fairly short period of time. So the naysayers turned around.
Yeah. Again, we see that all the time. It's so normal. It's human nature. Human nature is always being resistant to change at some level, right? I think the other thing that we see all the time, and I'd love for you to comment on this, Liz, is the boost in confidence also as people become more comfortable, they become more skilled, and they begin to see some results, right? And while the results may not go from A to Z, they can go from A to B or A to C or A to D, right? So talk about that confidence boost that you've seen in your people as they've been progressing through the training and post training.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we started out with people making initial videos where they were absolutely dark in the shadows of, in front of the camera. And you really just didn't even know what they were saying because you couldn't even see them. To really then just fully understanding what it takes to have a good video, and the lighting that is so important, and natural light being really, really probably one of the best lightings that you can have.
Yeah.
And
Not what I have right now. I've got lights all over the place and it's still far from perfect.
yeah, no, that's right. So and then eventually just people ended up, being able to, and I really appreciated the way that, again, not to be, a commercial or anything like that, but the way that Van Gresso does the training, you have a script that actually comes up very close to the camera and it rolls. So it doesn't look like, you don't necessarily have to memorize your script or anything like that and have nerves, because you just have exactly what you want to say right in front of you. So people were able to just have a success pretty much right away. And then they just built on that week after week. And then when we did our graduation ceremonies, we saw some of the videos, and it was amazing just how professional and good, and they all were, not necessarily every single one, but most of them were. And then we've had people now starting to really just take this as their own, and they're posting LinkedIn series, video series, and things like that, and really just getting so much excitement around it. So it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what are some of the unique ways that you've seen your team using video to engage? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Liz, but video in digital selling is not about selling per se or closing a deal. It's about communicating, right?
Right.
So what are some of the ways that your team is using video that really kind of takes their communication to a new level, in the current age of COVID and digital selling and modern selling?
Right. Well, I think just as simple as having an out of office message that's video. I recently did this. I went up to Lake Tahoe. For people that know California, I went up there and was hanging out, and I had done a video. I was doing some golfing up there, and I just created a small little video. It was like 30 seconds long, and it was a video of my ball rolling towards the pin and dropping in the cup. And then it scanned up to me, and I said, "Oh, hi, sorry I missed you, clearly just getting some time away in these COVID times. I hope you are too, and just went through my little short out of office message. And you would be shocked at how many people really just, when they saw that I had an out of office video, they had a lot of excitement around watching it, and I got a lot of positive feedback about it. So it starts as simply as that, and then it, progresses into, connecting on LinkedIn and having a video for that, thanking them for that, all the way to, very, it may be a general outreach video that you might do to a group of prospects, and drilling it down to, direct one-on-one video that you may send to a C-suite member. So
Yeah, I love the out of office example. The creativity behind that, Liz, is fantastic. And I've seen some creativity from your team here, and I'm gonna, if you don't mind, put you on the
yeah,
spot. I can think of one in particular, but there's
yeah,
probably more than one examples of some creativity from your team that maybe you might want to share.
sure. So we have one of our producers that just has really embraced this whole process and has brought a series to LinkedIn. Is that what you're referencing, Bernie? Is that something in particular that you're thinking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, just any creative
Okay,
example
all
that
right,
you want to
very good.
share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody that's bringing a series to LinkedIn around, their process and how they can help a client and things that they should be thinking about, and addressing very near term issues for prospective clients or existing clients that would be linked in with them on LinkedIn. And it's just received a lot of attention, and just really going very, very well. So I would say that there's definite success there. And we also have another group that is, bringing in other team members, and introducing them in video and, those types of things. I think it's going to be very effective. That just started. But anyway, just again, a lot of creativity and a lot of fun being had.
Okay, cool. Um, there's a question here that I'll pull in here. What video program did you use? Was it a video the receiver had to open, or did the out of office video just pop up? So you want to start with that?
Yeah.
Because I can.
So inside, well, what I had was an email that would say, hi, I'm currently out of the office, enjoying some time away. Thought you would like to see my out of office video or something like that. See what I'm doing. And it created curiosity. And, they clicked on it and then they saw the short video. And again, people are like, nice putt, and stuff like that.
Right.
Just have
Yeah.
fun with it.
Right.
Because people
Right.
are tired of just general everything's, so much email and there's just not a lot of fun going on with
Exactly.
the day to day to day to day to day Groundhog Day happening over and over at home. So it just
Exactly.
that breaks it up,
Exactly.
right? Makes it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And specifically, Liz, just to embellish on the answer to the question, the platform that we're using is OneMob. That's the tool, the name of the tool. And the way it appears when you send an email to someone with a video is the thumbnail of the video is actually right below that. And now you can actually do an animated GIF where you can show the first 3 or so seconds of the video. It's without sound, but the first 3 seconds, so it's moving, it's animated, so that it's different, right? It's not just a normal email.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So, you mentioned earlier that you selected very carefully the people that you would put through the program. And so that was very wise of you. Have you seen any feedback, questions, comments from others inside the organization that didn't go through the program? Or are they saying, hey, what about me?
Yeah, we definitely got that. We did have people that, we weren't sure that would necessarily jump in on it. And, we have people that are maybe a little bit more technically challenged. Every group of employees have people that, embrace technology, other people that, just try to deal with it. And so for some of the people that we thought would be, just trying to deal with it and struggle with it a little bit, they became, maybe in that group that we didn't initially roll it out, but they saw what the other people were doing and they got excited and they were kind of a little frustrated that they weren't in that first group. But at the same time, we figured out a way to bring them in and get them the training that they needed. So it worked out. We didn't want to leave people behind if they wanted to participate.
Right.
Trainings, yeah.
Something that we say at Vengresso, in fact, Mario, our CEO, says this a lot, and so I stole it from him a while ago, but I will give him credit for it. And that is that a fool with a tool is still a fool, right? Think about that. A fool with a tool is still a tool. And what we mean by that is that just throwing technology at any use case, in this case, throwing technology at salespeople, saying, hey, here's a tool, here's a video tool, go use it, that's still a fool, right? Just because you give them that tool. So Liz, maybe you can comment on the fact that, like they went through training, but also they had to get the mindset, right? They had to really kind of buy into it. They had to understand the importance of it, the value, and the fact that to reach the modern buyer, they need to be different and they need to engage using video communication. So maybe you can speak to that as it relates to the whole program that you went through with your team, that mindset issue.
Yeah. I think you've already alluded to it, Bernie, is that, people don't mind watching other people's videos, right? But at the same time, when they're on the spot to create it themselves, they have to get that mindset that I can do it. And frankly, the training that we received really, again, I kind of touched on this earlier, did create a lot more confidence than if we had just tried to, just create videos ourselves, because there are other platforms that are out there that don't really give training. They just give you a platform to put video out, which is fine too. I mean, that's certainly, could have some traction, but I think we were wanting to invest in a better way of doing it. And you have to create confidence Just like, you give your new salespeople a script when they're first doing, cold calls. They have to have confidence. They have to practice it. They have to be out there making efforts to, improve it so that they can come across in a calm way. And, ultimately that came through. By the end, people did end up with so much more confidence, and the quality of the videos were very good. So, yeah, I think I addressed that. Ask me
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
question if I didn't, but
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Liz, as you know, at the end of every one of our training programs, we have an awards ceremony, and we call that the Trailblazer Awards.
Right.
So I remember with your team, several of the people that won awards. And so I'm not going to put you on the spot because, you'd have to dig up the names and all that.
yeah.
But what I remember specifically though, was how several people created many videos, like dozens and dozens of videos.
Yeah.
And I think the point behind that, and I'd love for you to just comment on this, the point behind that is like the practice that it takes, right? It's not unlike an athlete, right? Practice, right? So coming into the program, everything was new to them, but then they practiced so much that on the other side of the program, not only did their skills improve, but their confidence improved. And that was because of the practice. So do you want to maybe just elaborate on that a little bit, and from your internal discussions with your team on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows you get out what you put in. So if you want to make this platform stand out and really have an opportunity to, grow in sales, you really have to make the effort to practice. And to your point, so it does. What's easy about the platform is it does make it easy. So if you initially start out and you sound pretty good overall, and then you kind of flub, you can easily just stop it and start again, and it makes it very straightforward. And so by the time, and you're not trying to make long videos, I think that's the other key element for people to understand, is that you're not really trying to create videos that exceed much beyond like a minute to a minute and a half. And
Right.
So it isn't that hard to get, although you'd be surprised sometimes when you first do it, you have a number of takes that it takes to actually get a solid video. And then as you get more comfortable in front of the camera, you get more conversational, you calm down, you don't sound as robotic a little bit as you do it the first few times you do it. And then by the time you practice and get it done, you can actually even go off script and just be a lot more authentic, and then really come across, I think, even better. The scripts are there initially to help you. They're your training wheels. But once you know what you want to talk about and you're going through it, you're really solid, and then you can just really talk to the person that's on the other side of the camera. And that authenticity just comes across extremely well. And that's so much better than a cold call. It's thousands of times better than an email. And so, it really does work.
And, if you make a cold call, and if you leave a voicemail, you don't know if they listen to it. But when you send a video, you've got analytics. If I send you a video, Liz, and you never open it, I'm going to know that, because when I look at the analytics, it's going to show that you didn't open it. If you opened it, I'm going to know that you opened it, and I'm going to know how long you watched it. If it's a minute-long video and you watch 52 seconds, I'm going to know that, right? That's got to be really, really helpful to your team as well, as they're using it in their selling activities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. We had people that did outreaches and campaigns, and they could see right away who was opening and how many people were opening, and the open rate is good. So, it's like you said, it's so much better than the unknown, right? You throw that email out, and or, whatever, LinkedIn, even, content, you can see how many people sort of viewed it, the number, but you don't necessarily, unless they like it, you don't know who actually viewed it.
Exactly.
So that you can, hopefully follow up and say, hey, I noticed that you saw that thing on LinkedIn. You really don't know. So this is absolutely a way to pin that down and have a lot more certainty around your sales process.
Yeah, and we've seen many examples of a salesperson sending a video, and then it gets passed around internally, and you can see in the analytics other people opening it up.
Yes, for sure.
So
yeah, absolutely.
That's also really, really helpful. Well, I'm watching our time, and I know that you have to jump for another meeting. I do want to give you the opportunity, if you want to take the opportunity to have any kind of closing thoughts, comments, maybe, what's next in the journey.
Sure. Yeah. I'll tell you, if you're hesitating, or people that are watching, if you're hesitating about this, I really would encourage you to not. I think this is absolutely the new frontier, and something that will really, really help your sales process. And I would say that the training that we received, specifically from Vengresso, was really top notch. And if you know, look at their website, I think I'm even on there saying it was a 10 out of 10. I don't want to be too repetitive, but it really was excellent training. It was very enthusiastic. It's hard to keep attention of salespeople when they go through training. They're invariably on their phone. They're invariably wanting to be somewhere else. And that did not happen in this training, because it was so lively, and it just kept their ADD attention, because it just kept moving all the way through it very, very quickly, but repetitively. So they ended up learning the material because it was repeated a few different times. They had to practice things a few different times.
Practice, yep.
And so, yeah, I would absolutely encourage everybody that's listening to engage in this video sales process, because it absolutely is one of the best things that we've ever done.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. I'll just put in a little plug for those to check out our website, and you'll find the video content right there. Liz, I'm going to let you go because I know you have to run. Thank you so much for joining today and for sharing all these insights. We'll see you soon.
All right. Very good. Take care. See you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Everyone else, hang for just another few minutes here. We'll let Liz move on with her day. And I just want to invite any more comments. I see Adam chiming in saying, Adam, yes, you use OneMob. You were a guest on our live show about a month ago, give or take. In fact, you and I did that session together. I remember it vividly, like it was yesterday. And, as Adam points out, he's got a long note here. I don't think, there it is. There's the whole note here. As you can see, he's using it, he sells in a scientific environment. And you can see here, he says that he's become more comfortable and natural in front of a video camera, and also providing a better customer experience for his customers who are scientists. So, but again, Adam, I know, because we've talked about this, that it takes practice, and it's not just the tool, it's not just the technology, but it's also the mindset, and then understanding how to apply it, and then again, the practice. So I just want to invite any other final comments here. Thanks for joining, Amy. Thanks for joining, Kate. Thanks for joining, Kevin. Any other closing comments, thoughts, ideas before we wrap up this week's live? I know that Vivica is going to be back with us next Friday. So if we don't have any more comments here, I'm just going to remind you to submit your questions for any future live. Just go to vengresolive.com, enter in whatever question you might have as it pertains to digital selling, and we'll address that here on an upcoming Friday live. So on that note, this is Bernie Borges from Vengresso, filling in the big, big shoes for Vivica Von Rosen, who will be back next week. Wish you a terrific rest of the day Friday, great weekend, and we'll see you next time. See ya.